Today I want to talk about a right hand technique or a right hand arranging style where you take a simple melody and you try to move things onto the thumb, melody notes onto the thumb. Now what this necessitates for me is that you learn how to drop thumb onto the first string, which is not something I hear talked about a lot. I did some Google searching to see people talking about it, and it's a difficult thing to do at first because it requires that you're striking, basically it's a single string clawhammer style. So you're only hitting one string. So you're drop thumbing onto the same string that you're downstroking on. You can do it on any string. I've never tried it on the fifth string before, but these four strings. I wouldn't say I'm all that clean at doing that particular exercise where you just try to... You can think of this as an accuracy exercise. And this may seem pretty silly just right out of the gate without any examples on how to do it, but once you actually get that technique down, it unlocks some pretty interesting rhythmic opportunities where you're only hitting one string at a time and just letting the other strings kind of sympathetically resonate. To me, that's a pretty cool sound, and maybe kind of a different sound in the clawhammer repertoire. And it requires a lot of skipping, I believe is how some clawhammer players refer to it, where if you're double thumbing this, it should be like a constant pattern of even notes, which I think I'm swinging, but if you do it really fast, you'll notice as soon as you do the downstroke, you're killing the note via landing the thumb on the same note in order to pluck it. Because the thumb arrives, at least in my style, early to pluck it. It's not the same as the downstroke, which is an instantaneous. The thumb kind of comes in, sits for a unspecified amount of time, and then releases off the string, which is why it's hard to do this even note exercise. So what you have to do instead is leave off a downstroke or a thumb if you want to sustain the notes for longer than that kind of minimum division. Anyway, that's kind of a pure technique approach to what we're talking about, but it's probably more interesting to think about it in terms of how to actually deploy this kind of technique in a tune. So in that one I played initially, that's Swing and Turn Jubilee, which I learned from a Gene Ritchie record. You can see I'm playing quite a few of the melody notes with my thumb on the first string. Less so in the B part, but there's an alternate thing you can do in the B part rather than play the melody strictly, is you just kind of imply the melody by playing a few of the notes. So a more correct version would be... So rather than that, you can just kind of do a minimal version. And then another simple melody that this kind of technique shines on is Home Sweet Home. I learned this one recently. It came up in a lesson. A simple version might be with all downstrokes. But you can move a lot of that onto the thumb. You can also just not play a lot of it, particularly on a sliding fretless style. Particularly if you get up on your nail. You get a little more resonance, which is a technique from sarod playing. We can do a video on that in the future, but let's play that one more time. One other tune I like to do this on in particular, and it is how I play the tune, is Bonaparte's Retreat. A downstroke only version would be something like this. But a thummy version would sound like this. In that version, I'm doing very little of the single string technique, maybe only on one note in the B part, but there is a ton of just arranging mindset. Can I get this note? Either push it slightly forward, push it slightly back, and land it on a thumb. And that's the magic of clawhammer, is that your downstrokes and your downbeats and your offbeats are determined by the physiology of your hand. Yeah, and I think that's most of the idea. Can I get a melody note onto the thumb, either by moving forward or backward in time very slightly? Or can I play everything on one string? They're kind of linked techniques in my mind, because what's required to do a thummy approach to melody is often that you're thumbing the first string, which is rare in clawhammer. And if you're thumbing the first string, you're also downstroking the first string. I suppose I've never attempted to downstroke a lower string that I'm thumbing. That seems pretty difficult. Maybe it could be done. I'd love to know if anyone does that. That's pretty difficult for my hand, for my stretch capabilities. But I do just like to hang out on that first string, and it gives you a cool, sparse sound that you might not be getting otherwise when playing clawhammer, because you're often you're brushing everything. This This is kind of a way of avoiding all the other strings and just letting them sympathetically resonate. What else is there to say? The essential exercise. Well, a lot of these exercises, I come up with after the fact to explain how I'm playing, but it's not something I ever actually did. That's never something I've done before today. I think I could help you if you want to learn how to do this. I think probably what I did was just something like that. And this. Thanks for watching.